The trouble that is going on between the military men and the Okuama community in Delta State, let's look into it and see what is cause of the problem that has been going on for a while now. Let us hear directly from the minister. Please, as you are watching, try to subscribe, like, comment and share to others for more information.
Some of these are happening. We have seen what has happened in Kaduna, in Maiduguri, in Borno State rather, and then in Sokoto. Mr. President has said that this is an unacceptable situation. He's not going to, the government will not condone abductions or kidnappings or any kind of criminality in that direction. We're seeing, of course, this happen, and government is taking very proactive steps, first to mitigate that and also to stop the spread of this apparent, we are seeing some kind of movement by the more the security agencies are also hitting these targets, the targets of criminals, the more they are pushed to also getting some soft targets. But government is not taking any excuses. The president has directed that security agencies must, as a matter of urgency, ensure that these children and all those who have been kidnapped are brought back in safety, and also in the process to ensure that not a dime is paid for ransom.
Welcome back from the business studios, and we go quickly into this conversation around the security situation around the country, the recent kidnappings and killings in the Delta, for instance. Joining us to look at this, we have Mr. Mike Ejiofor, a former director with the Department of State Services. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning.
Mr. Ejiofor, of course, there have been multiple reactions, all manner of reactions to, let's start out with the Delta situation, like the most recent. But from your angle, what do you think?
Well, for me, it's something I can't imagine. The killing in Delta. I try to figure out, killing people is not right. Nobody has any right to take any other person's life. Talk of soldiers. And going beyond killing, but mutilating their body and decapitating their head and bodies is human. And for me, I think we have lost our values as human beings. No respect for life anymore. This is a very tragic incident. For me, I can't comprehend it. Just very, very sad.
What do we make of the reactions that have trailed it so far? Because initially, I mean, there are those who said that, look, there wasn't a quick enough response to the incident, and this was supposed to have happened on a Friday, and we didn't get a statement from I think Hame headquarters responded perhaps late Saturday or early Sunday. I can't quite remember now. But by that time, human rights activist Mr. Femi Falana was already, calling that there needs to be a quick response so as to douse tension, between that community and the larger Nigerian society. Because for some people, what immediately came to mind after that incident happened was the aftermath that had trailed such an incident in places like Udi and Zaki Biam. And there were immediate fears for that community, that look, this could spell doom for it, given what had happened, what had transpired there. But from what you've seen so far, would you say that all the reactions that we have seen have been in line with what should happen in the wake of such a very disturbing incident?
For me, I don't think anybody would have stepped in to prevent what had happened. Despite the denial by the military, it's usual with them for such reprisal attack. They will continue to say they did not. But then, who raised the community? And nobody knows the number of casualties, but we can see from videos, you can see the place burning up to the extent that the governor had no access. Nobody has media men, journalists have no access to the community. So that's going too far. We sympathize with the military. Nigerians have money that are military, but two wrongs don't make it right. And it follows the trend that each time the military is killed, you go for reprisal. much as we discourage people from taking laws into their hands by killing our military, because it's a symbol of our authority. The military should not also go beyond their mandate of burning. Now, let's look at it this way. What took the military to that community? They say they went for peace, peacekeeping. Peacekeeping between who and who? There's a peacekeeping. Two parties must be involved. People from the two communities must be involved, and possibly a neutral ground will be taken. Possibly the local government headquarters, if we are talking of this initiative. And why must the military? In fact, the military exposed itself to harm's way. We don't blame the dead, but the people behind such mission. If the police, the SSS, and the military were involved in this, I don't think we would have seen this type of this. Why not justifying the killings? But I think it's a lesson for all of us and for the military. You don't blame the military too much, because they have been so much involved in civil matters that the military will now go for peace initiative without the civil authority, which is of course the police. I still don't get it.
So you do believe that there needs to be a thorough investigation?
Of course.
And I think that's part of what I'm asking when I asked that question about reactions in the aftermath of what had happened. Statements that were released. We heard the CDS saying that a thorough investigation was going to be undertaken into the incident that had happened. However, I do not know. Because right now the military is an injured party. As well as all Nigerians are. But the military specifically has felt the direct impact of this. Do you think that they are still in a prime position to be able to undertake such an investigation?
The military is a party interested. They cannot undertake such investigation. And I feel that by now, the federal government or the state government must have set up an investigative panel to look into this matter, because time is running. People are abandoned their communities. No life is there. The military has taken over the community, and I just can't understand why the delay in setting up this investigative panel. We need to get to the root of that matter to know exactly what happened. I think many things are not adding up.
How should we go about this? Because it doesn't appear that we've had precedents to follow. Emotions are still very raw as expected. When you take into cognizance the manner in which this sort of incident happened and the gruesomeness of it all, it is expected. Even Nigerians are wondering that what sort of audacity, did the people who committed such, an attack, what effrontery did they have? So as such, even Nigerians are trying to come to terms, with the manner of the attack, and as such, emotions are still raw and still very much high. However, given the fact that we do not exactly have precedent in terms of how this has happened or what should happen in a manner that is civil and also respectful of not just the dead, but also of the community where this has happened. Because let's not forget that not everybody would have been, involved and also approving of what has transpired. How would you suggest? We know that security agencies usually prefer might. They understand might more than the processes. What do you think ideally should have happened in the aftermath of such a report?
Was talking of president, what happened during OD? Nothing came out of it. Talk of Zakibian, nothing came out of it. And it is now following that same trend that people will go take laws into their hands. Who laws cannot make it? Like I said, when we started, the gruesome murder of those and looking at mutilating their. We've lost our values, like I said before. I still can't come to terms with that. But the military too, out of emotion, has taken their pound of flesh by raising down the community, even though they say they didn't. Then investigation will prove who raised the community. Let us look at an independent body of inquiry.
Which body would that be?
The federal government or the state government should, at various levels, set up or they harmonize. The state government brings representative, the federal government brings representative, and form a very high-powered, independent investigation that will come out with an objective report of what happened. Because as it is now, people are scampering, influence. Some people that might be indicted in this investigation because the military, lieutenant colonel, major, two major, cannot on their own just move out on a peacekeeping mission in a community, and the people are not. There's so much in this incident that must be found out. It's quite unfortunate that these officers who government has committed so much resources to train have lost their lives. No matter the amount of compensation, the national honor, national burial, it will not bring back their lives. But we must learn a lesson from this, that in future, the military would also collaborate with the civil authority, especially the police, the state security service, and the other agencies that are working together to ensure peace.
Mr. Jeffo,
yes.
There's that conversation about the fact that the civil military relations have been strained, so to speak, maybe because the military is really stretched across different facets of the country, carrying out security, trying to secure the country, contrary to what they are meant to do, which is protecting the borders, as the case may be. But when you say the military needs to relate more, carry out more civil relations, what exactly would you want the military to do?
Well, until this ugly incident, I know that Major General, who is in charge of civil-military relations, they've been, there's been improved relationship between the military and the civil authorities. But this incident has just set us back many years, because there is great suspicion now. In fact, the whole of the South-South, the grave implications of what is going on now. Because people are apprehensive. They are looking for the culprits who are responsible for this. And in the process, some innocent people can be arrested. Some people can even lose their lives in the process. So we need to build this confidence between the military and the civilians to give reassurance. And there's no way this can be better done than looking at the truth, finding out exactly what happened, so that in future, such situations can be prevented from happening.
We're seeing the reports that the troops are combing Bayelsa and Delta Creeks to find these militant leaders. But while we're talking about this, the other matter in Kaduna also comes to mind. 287 children kidnapped, another 87, another 15 in different areas. And yesterday, the Kaduna State government sat down for an emergency security meeting from which they wrote from. And the governor was quoted as saying he said he told the traditional rulers to fish out the informants of the bandits. In his words, there are some people, some unscrupulous people who have crept into the various communities who are informing the bandits about activities going on.
The bandits, they are watching television.
Mr. Jeffo, I'm going to have to interrupt you very briefly. This is just to inform our viewers on our DSTV platform that we'll be going live to Bauchi State for the distribution, for live coverage of the distribution of palliatives organized by the state government. This program, Sunrise Daily, will certainly continue on all our other platforms, including our online platforms. But we're taking you live now, our viewers on DSTV, to Bauchi State for a live coverage of the distribution of palliatives organized by the state government. Back to the conversation, Mr. Ejiofor. You were saying that the bandits also watch television.
They watch television. They have. That is why most times there are certain information we shouldn't release. Especially to be self-regulatory. I've been in the media, those of us who also discuss some of this issue, because they are there watching. Oh, the governor talking of informants to the bandits. If he knows them, possibly intelligence have provided the right informants, they should be arrested and further interrogated. And that also brings me to the issue of information given out yesterday. Sponsors of terrorism being named. One of them is under prosecution already. And I think that will bring a very big lead, because these people who are operating the bandits, if you see them, they are not looking healthy, they are not looking wealthy, so they must have sponsors that they report to. And it must be also investigating what are their aims, what are their objectives, what do they intend to achieve. For me, I feel they're just out there to destabilize the government and then make government popular. You remember that we had this issue of threat in 2014, but somewhere another governor came up to say that some people were brought in and they were being paid. There was a time even the NSA's office released 100 billion to all these people. So you have empowered them. So these are the areas we should now be looking at to disempower them, if I must use that, to bring them back to sanity. But they have acquired so much arms, so much money, that it becomes, how do we explain that you have over 280 something taken at a time, apart from the Chibok girl that happened in 2014? Are they moving in buses? Are they trekking? Are they moving in motorcycles? With such huge numbers, how are they being fed? Medical. They have some of them who also have medical personnel who takes care of their health and wealth. And you can't just go now. That's why when government says we must free them, it puzzles me, because they are going to be used as a human shield. There's no way you can go and attack them. So the best thing we should do is to concentrate our efforts in preventing it from happening. And how do we prevent it? Monies are given to these people. Let's follow the money. You remember when the former central bank governor's wife, Emefiele, was kidnapped? The money used was marked, and they used that money because he had to come back to the bank. They used that money, traced it back, and arrested the culprit. So we should be following the money now. I think that's the best way to go. Prevent this thing from happening. If it happens, there's little or nothing one can do. And anybody saying, don't pay ransom, we are not paying ransom. Yes, government will not be involved in paying ransom.
But is it not possible that with hindsight and the level of intelligence that's available to government, that might be the reason, that might be what's giving impetus to that statement, we are not negotiating? Because as some people will say, government knows where these people are. The government tools of security know where these people are and know how to get them.
Me, I believe that the president, as president of Federal Republic of Nigeria, has more information or intelligence than any of us. For him to come out to say we are not going to negotiate and we are not going to pay, there must be some other options or alternatives. And I also learned that the government intends to engage foreign support. I think it's over time we look at this aid, foreign support, call it private practitioners, security practitioners, call it mercenary, but I think we need foreign support and intervention now if we must come out of it. You remember the person that was kidnapped in Niger and brought to Nigeria? United States came here, killed the bandits, and removed their national. So why don't we look for such foreign support? I think we must confront this matter headlong.
Okay, my colleague in Lagos has a few questions. Ayo.
Thank you, Nyata. Mr. Jaffor, there is something that I think it was Malcolm that mentioned it, or maybe it was even later, the fact that the soldiers that were killed are Nigerians and they are human beings too. So sometimes when these issues arise, we look at the occurrence from the perspective of the fact that 19 soldiers were killed, but there are 19 Nigerians who are soldiers and also have families. How should we approach that sentiment?
Well, it's very difficult. Lives have been lost. And like I said when we started, these are soldiers. You are attacking our collective will in the military. And it's regrettable and must be condemned. But like I also said when we started, two wrongs don't make a right. For the military to have overrun and taken over the community, even though they say they are not involved, that's not the right way to handle it. So I think the best way, which I also explained when we started, let us investigate this matter and establish exactly what happened. Because we all speculate.
These incidents, as you also highlighted, is not the first time. We have heard the Zaki Biam occurrence, the Odi occurrence, and several others like that. But in every single one of these environments, every single one of these situations, we had community leaders. In fact, there is a video making the rounds now of some young man saying that, they wanted to arrest their community leaders and all of that. How verifiable that video is, I guess we'll leave that to the authorities. But the fact that community leaders of these warring communities ought to have been able to nip this matter in the bud. That's a concern, isn't it? And what do you expect that any revelation from the investigations that bring that up, what should happen going forward?
Yeah, I think that's again, why not blaming the military? I understand the state government had a peace meeting with the two communities 2 weeks before this incident, and decisions were taken. The state government, I think the governor came here to see the president. He also said that they would look into the matter. I don't think, like I said, we're all speculating. Let us get to the root of the matter, know what role each of the parties, the community, but the leaders, the community leaders, are supposed to have played a major role because from all information, they live together, they intermarry, it's just a question of misunderstanding, possibly for resources. And when you see communities fighting, it's not that they are fighting over the land, it's the resources. But I don't have the details. So when this matter is properly investigated, we should be able to make a categorical statement whether the community leaders play their role or not.
Okay, Mr. Jeffo. Well, that last question from Maya, the community leaders, the youth leaders, whoever the case might be, there's a growing trend or a trend in our society where, as per big man, I have friends in the security organizations, agencies, and I have a little challenge. I can reach out to Mr. Jeffo. I said, please come, I'm having a bit of a challenge here. Would that have been the situation there? Is that the kind of community that was going to be arrested for whatever reason there may be? But at the end of the day, the question will be, what needs to be done to ensure the safety of Nigerians?
Yeah, honestly speaking, like you said, it's possible somebody is behind the intervention. But like I said, until it is investigated, I'm not going to speculate. But the military hierarchy should also call its men to order. I see military men now providing escort for politicians. We go to public places. I mean, when we were young, we had a captain in the 60s in my place, an army captain, Captain Wada from Oguluku. When he passes, that is on leave, we'll be following his push them walking like a soldier. You don't see soldiers, but they're everywhere now. So familiarity, they say, brings contempt. There's so much familiarity between, in fact, they have even got to the point now of extorting money on the road, like the police. So what is it? We need to realign or reorientate our military that they are there to defend our territorial integrity. And besides, in the Niger Delta, for instance, you have military everywhere in the southeast. That's where our resources come from. So they need to be protected. That's why they're everywhere. And a lot of people now lobby to be posted either to the southeast, also not because they love this country, but also what they do.
Mr. Michael Jeff, let's hope that those that need to hear will be hearing and something will be done real quick.
I hope so too.
Ensure the safety of Nigerians and hopefully the children who were abducted in Canada will come back real quick. Thank you once again, Mr. Michael Jeff. He's a former director of the Department of State Services. Thank you for coming to visit. And that is where we'll say
Adios.
Thank you for letting us be a part of your morning, and do go out there and be the best of you that they can be, and stay safe. I'm Neota Igwe.
Thank you for watching. I'm Mao Friend. Open yourself.
Makinde, thanks for all your messages as well. Bye for now.
At least 16 soldiers, including 4 officers, were killed in southern Nigeria while responding to a distress call during fighting between 2 communities, defense officials confirmed on Saturday. The attack in the oil-rich river in Delta State happened in the Bomadi Council area Thursday, when the soldiers deployed to keep the peace were surrounded by some community youths and killed. The attack led to the death of the commanding officer, 2 majors, 1 captain, and 12 soldiers. Local media reported the conflict in Delta was related to a lingering land dispute between the Okuama and Okoloba communities, which resulted in the abduction of 1 man. The soldiers had successfully tried to negotiate his freedom. Though mostly deployed on special security operations across West African country, Nigeria soldiers are sometimes sent to resolve conflict in communities, especially in areas with inadequate security presence or where deadly clashes are common.
Thanks for tuning in to Smart Okason TV show. Keep exploring, stay curious, and never stop getting the latest information happening around. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share to keep the intellect flowing. Until next time, keep sharpening.